It wasn't streaming. It didn't start streaming on the desktop setup. That's interesting. Oh. No data. Well, it's data from the stream. If you believe this was interact, you should. Well, I also have a. Yeah, so up there it is. There it is. Yeah, it's just I did copy the key again. Concurrent users, likes. Alright. Well, cool. Now I'm streaming. Guys. I'm just gonna listen to Mr. Bubbles. About 45 minutes I'm going to,
Because just to let people know, right? Guns are ineffective against emus. That's why we got rid of them. Okay, they don't do enough trauma damage, enough blood loss, and everything. Which is why we have to opt with swords. Swords are way more effective against them. If you ever fought an emu, you know. So.
They're bulletproof.
Yeah.
Jared Bixler for $5. He would like a.
Good lord, I would love the farmstead content. We would love to give it to you.
Yes.
What?
Yes. I just blanked. I was just like.
What? Did you have a stroke?
he's gonna fight me.
Identity crisis.
He's gonna
I was
fight
like,
me.
Where am I? What is this place?
Yeah, but it's gonna be in the daytime without like people there to help you
Farmstead
out.
content, yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully one day.
I genuinely, and then he says, here's what I can give to help you make it happen. Like we've even bought a whole heap of fruit trees that we're waiting to be able to plant on the property and everything.
So we can test them for sword reviews and stuff, yeah?
No, to get fruit, grow to fruit.
Yeah, so it's like pennies worth of wheat
yeah,
for $30.
house
Dry
there,
house
and
freaking
I wanna-
shit for
the
$30.
whole thing, chickens and garlic.
Try having to get this whole regulation thing
Far
for
down the
plant
line.
leaves.
This is far down the line.
Because when we talk about these
To
things,
have
people
the
think it's
right,
like, oh, you're doing it
to
now.
have the right to eat what's in your garden.
These are just dreams. And we want to do like small little projects on the property. And my dad comes down, Granddad Jack and stuff to help us out, but we haven't had the money to do that, and so it had to be on hold for a good while. Hope to get back to it if we keep pushing and keep making things grow.
There's attack from behind for $2 or $2.20. Christopher Judge as Cobra Bubbles,
He could do it.
and then Josh Kesley for $20. Thank you very much.
He donates $20. Thank you.
Chirot? How would you say that name?
Short? I don't know.
For $20, Gintama is the best live-action adaptation of an anime.
I have to look it up.
Did they do a live action adaptation of that?
What is Gintama? I don't even.
It's a very unique flavored anime. It's not I personally like if it's one of those animes where it's very long, like 900 episodes, something like that.
Yeah.
But it's if you don't like the humor, you're not gonna like the show. Basically, not that it's bad. It's just not to my personal taste. I didn't know they did a live action. I'm gonna have to look into this.
Well, hey,
Oh,
on
yeah,
Japan,
they're
there's a
doing
lot of
Waking
live
Life
action
stuff.
that we don't see and you probably don't want to see.
Right.
Like when I was I visited Japan, and on TV there was a live action Sailor Moon, and it looked amazing.
Yeah.
Like the most fake blonde wig you could possibly imagine. Amazing.
So all in all, we all want to go to Japan. That's what I got from that
sounds
conversation.
Nick Brone for $5. Fire arrow video was really cool. I used to think that fire arrows were used all the time in medieval warfare. I never thought about the practical use.
We're very happy with that video.
Turns out they're really hard to make.
Yeah. They're good. It was a good video. It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
Scotty Orange for $10. I want to hear the best use of the word crap you have. Hashtag keep crap alive.
Bull crap, the most common one that I do.
Oh yeah, sorry, we were going to say bull.
I don't think you synced it.
Did I sing it, chat?
I don't think you did. Dojo 5?
Yeah, Dojo. For €2.49, I meant greetings from him. I'm not him, lol. I don't know. That was going too far back. And then Karen Knight said, keep ignoring Oz, read my comments instead.
Is Oz still in the chat?
I don't know. We don't
Yeah, I don't like
We don't
Jews.
ignore chat, just
Well,
sometimes
the
we
Hollywood
get into
ones, they don't know what to do.
conversations here.
Their
So chat,
jobs are going
you're
away.
there. We read you, we pay
Nobody
attention,
gives a
we just
shit
can't
about
always
your
respond
movies.
to you because we're too busy talking about whether or not you should play a woman or a man.
Oh, look, someone says it was synced. You pulled it off.
Yeah, see,
Oh,
see
good
who
job.
go. Whoa.
Thanks, guys.
How about I crush your
Next
fucking
one is
head?
from
How about you ask me if I'm gonna play
Onsen
woman
for
or a
20
man?
That's Onisa.
Or ask me if I'm gonna play with you at all.
Apologies.
Well, you're playing with little kids, aren't you? Your little finger's been in the kid. That's what Becca's all mad
You
about.
never roleplay a girl and then you
Nickelodeon.
whip crap out like that?
Nickelodeon there. He's like, get these fingers in little kids early. Get them sex addicts early.
You're showing that it seems oddly practiced and well.
No, you switch before you.
That's Prince Will, isn't it?
Wow,
With the toupee.
okay.
Yeah, that's where she said they were snakes.
I could be.
She said the house is full of
girl,
snakes.
Hey, VTuber!
Yeah. A new channel, Nate Dogg. Big A.
But I'll do it so no one knows it.
I mean, when
and then I'll
Grandmama's
secretly be like a
the
million
friggin'
sub
the warrior of the house.
anime VTuber.
When
Yes.
Grandma,
I am
when
so
little Grandmama, little friggin' ancient
confused
Grandmama is
about
the most
VTubers.
hardcore warrior in the house. What do you
It's
expect?
hard to understand.
You expect
There's
you to
one
get men with little
VTuber
dolls and stuff, and they
that
think they're gonna be
I
in
can
charge of
see
men.
the entertainment
They're
value
gonna
in.
work.
Her name is
You're gonna work till your
Kim,
hands
and
bleed.
she did this stream on Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah, it's nice
just to
hopping
trigger
from Conjunction
people, and
Rays.
she,
Get
named
a
it,
recommendation.
I hate this
Is that
franchise,
good?
but
Get
I
another
hate people
one,
on
fly out
Twitter
here,
more.
go there, get friggin'
She's
flying for a little while.
trolls
Hey, when you don't
like,
need money,
okay,
the tax
I see
things
the
don't
value.
worry.
I don't understand VTubers.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
understand
when the tax
ASMR.
code is written
I
by
don't
and
understand
for
people
people
who
who write the
women
tax
in
code.
it. I just don't.
Everything's
The
written by and for
YouTubers,
lawyers. So you can
they
never,
got-
they
they're
can't
only
keep
gonna
up with the
get bigger.
friggin' laws, though.
And more complex and more. Again, the parasocial. It's bizarre, and I'm not. This is why I'm confused. Because I don't think it's actually healthy or good for society necessarily.
Yeah, a lot of people love that torture memo.
really,
A lot of people
the
have
internet was a
tortured.
mistake.
They've got off. Friggin', it's no
the
coincidence.
problem-
Hostel
I
and stuff,
actually
that
do
was
feel
filmed
social
after
media's
the
causing
friggin'
a
UIC
lot of
started
issues.
torturing.
YouTube
torture memo.
contributes to it, but not as much
Before
as
there were the
Twitter
funny
and
sharks with
Facebook,
laser
some
memes,
old
person
parasocial
tied to a
relationships,
thing.
people checking
You
out
know,
relationships,
like those
stuff
old
like that.
comedy
And
type sites.
VTubing
The
and fact
hostel
combining
dude
that
where he
with
got
parasocial
pull eyes out of
relationship
women.
kind stuff.
That was
We
after
already
the
see,
torture memo.
big problems with
Yeah, it's a big
fossils,
problem if you actually did that. I have to
the
justify it.
pandemic that we are under in this dark
$50,000
times.
for a white
And
woman.
AI art is only going to make it
$30,000
worse.
for Asians. Remember when they did the harder they are? Yeah.
Yes and no. It's the application of it. It's the application of it in VTubing kind of stuff. Okay, and so. Because I've always decried bad uses of AI art, but I've never said it's an inherently evil technology, just like the camera is not inherently
Yeah.
evil, but it can be used for evil things.
True.
Yeah.
But the potential of
Well, if we're taking somebody's stuff and
AI
remixing
is
it,
very-
you're talking about remixing
Yeah,
s-
yeah.
something that's almost identical.
We are
See, if it's
a
not
brave
good enough,
new
they won't
world
listen.
type of
People won't listen to it,
technology
but they
horizons,
change it up
right?
a little bit,
Because
put layers
AI
on.
just flat
Whoa, this isn't the
is
same
more
stuff. Put some
complex
layers on.
topic,
See, we have like some
because
little
AI
layers.
is not
Tell yourself with
artificial general intelligence, okay? It's an algorithm that can make amazing stuff. But in terms of the progression of AI broadly, there are.
See, if your pets have turned gone wild in the house, if the things you put it, you would purposely, hey, he can keep working. He's so privileged. He can keep out there working. He can just keep working out there.
Man, I'm having deja vu right now. Remember when I was having that conversation with Oz?
Yeah, you guys have
So
our
it is,
paychecks.
Yeah, me and Oz did
Except
like
we're
a
not
thing
out there.
on AI art,
Yeah, half the paycheck's gone to you. It's like that Department of Energy friggin' subsidy at Raise. How much are you working? How much is the Department of Energy splitting the pay between a friggin' You are working. While you are working, half of the actual unrealized capital that you should be getting is going to their fucking pets.
Say the perfect things, everything like that. That is Brave New World stuff of like not good stuff. We need people to have human relationships and get along with people and not get consumed into an artificial reality. And
That's a lot of effort, so it's easy to do it the other way. You want to continue on that?
So we'll go in a room together and blow ourselves up. So we'll all go into the real world together,
I'm
right?
interested in your guys'
Try and put
opinion, but I don't
people
want
on
to spoil
drugs and
too
convince them
much.
they're in a
Sonny has
matrix.
Yet again made the journey into work territory. Here's a hint: lesbians in a game with robot dinosaurs and a certain red.
See, right when life's getting good, where I can't finally get money, or go to the real world. You shouldn't be. You should be spending this money in the Matrix.
It's never
Just
interested
the Matrix is for
me.
people like me.
I've never interested me.
I'll help you leave the Matrix.
And
I'll help you leave your nice little comfy houses.
I saw that they were already.
We've been
willing
outside of
to
the
make
Matrix.
changes for
The
nothing
Matrix is
but
what you do in your fucking
appeasing,
cities
you know,
to keep food coming there, keep people working.
Activists and ideologues is like, okay, well, screw it, I'm not interested.
Getting
I just
first
don't
class
think
on
any of us
planes,
are interested in the franchise, to be honest.
high-rise hotel. Even when I got friggin' reward points, guess who used them?
Do Knife for $10. Do you know anything about
Yeah,
the classic high fantasy
Kevin
anime
Michael
series,
Grace hates
Record
you.
of the Lotus War?
There is a 20-year-old
There's a
kid
very
who came out and
similar
was giving their
aesthetic to
opinions.
Lord
A
of the
20-year-old
Rings,
kid in
and I
a
would love to
restaurant.
see a live-action
Talking
series
about
of it.
politics. You're gonna be the next Ben.
Okay, so
You're gonna be the
the
next friggin'.
DVDs. I was
What's
gonna,
that? What's
I
that
wanna
dude?
get
What's
it.
it?
Yes, I know Record of
Logic,
Lotus
facts and logic, facts and logic.
Freaking brilliant, man.
His Hollywood rich people. You need to go out and be a conservative. You're giving me Michael J. Fox.
This is Record of Lotus Wars.
Can I say I've never...
So this is an interesting one. It's actually a kind of like sequel spin-off to the original.
Yeah.
But yeah, the original Record of Lodos Wars is so classic D&D roleplay type of stuff, and it's an anime, and it's brilliant. I love it.
Is it a good anime?
Yeah, I like the original. There's a lot of spin-offs that aren't as good, and they kind of animeify the classic roleplay stuff and make it a bit more wonky, crazy kind of. It's anime. They love making things more weird. But the original is really classic fantasy stuff where you got, you know, like a really rogue-looking rogue, the dwarf, the elf maiden, the human, you know, a squire's aspiring to be a knight type of thing, and the evil villain. It's just gorgeous classic stuff. Oh, and the animation in the original is just, mwah, chef's kiss gorgeous.
I was watching some dude get his head cut off. And
It's catching your interest, is it?
yeah, keep going,
No. I want it back now. I want it back. I've looked through it in a long time.
He wants a turn now.
Sure.
This is great stuff, though. This has great art. So yes, Record of Lodos Wars. My nerd, in some areas, my nerd cred is just on point.
Just hold on.
Clip that. Someone clip that. Opus 4 for 100 DKK. Love your recent Fire Arrows video. Good stuff. Read Berserk and watch the 1997 anime. I think you'll like it. Winky face.
Stuff.
Yeah, the Berserk is a journey that I see myself going down, but it's a big journey.
So I'm gonna say. So years ago, my brother, when he started going tweaker, he started getting into Satanism, and that was hardcore Satanism. It's a little darker because he was talking about crying about Satanism. Well, so you do pentagrams, but no, it's more than that. They oh look, a guy getting his head cut off. These are psychics. See, that's how they get all the information. The friggin' Twitter, the comms, all the different Signal, WhatsApp, Telegram, friggin' Hive. Kick, well, Kick's a strange thing, but all this stuff is about getting information. They've turned us all to spy on each other. Well, they have a few who are more inside. They don't get their stuff. They don't get they can be based and they don't get their stuff canceled. Because how do they get money? Well, they just take a dead man's ID and go and take their bank account. And they're trying to get some volunteer. Try to get the Sun. Try and get Chris Kyle. Well, well, Gina has admitted to everybody she has had sex with because a lot of us deny it because it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing being to freaking hang out, getting drunk, and next thing you know, you're sleeping with some banging some woman and cocaine and freaking drinks all night. See, if men go to jail for taking advantage of drunk women, then well, freaking a lot of us were raped, yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Becca walked in while I was banging friggin' Sarah Palin. But I know other people too. It was a separated woman, not going by that name, but I will take a head. Because that is the most. You friggin' get a woman drunk and secretly sexually blackmail her. You sick frickin' pervert. Oh, it's worse than that. I'm gonna make that challenge. There's a reason Becca hates you. There's a reason why when you go on BBX Bullets, one of the Randy Weavers. Yeah. The Battle for Investment Survival by Gerald M. Loeb. I don't know what the year this is. It's kind of a used bookstore. And I was looking for things like, well, when did, because we're trying to keep up with the speed of, so copyright 1935, and then it was republished again. It's like printings in for 1935, 36, 37, 43, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 65. Yeah, people in Middle America didn't get online and buy stocks. This was it was a very, well, the financial services to get loans and get pricing and goods and supplies. Well, it's important that to help farmers, because otherwise you're just growing crops, and what are you going to do with your crops? Well, if you're a small farm, I looked at some of the acreages and I bought a big farm, and they're trying to get they're trying to get their, well, I can tell you about people hiring people from Home Depot for $5 an hour, or actually day. Remember the old saw: those who can do, those who can't teach or write success stories. Without for a moment implying that all teachers and authors lack the ability to do things they teach and write about, the publishers undertook to prove the old adage false by persuading a successful speculator to revise his book in which he tells how he does it. This is a foreword to the book. The author is a seasoned stockbroker, and the material in this book is distilled from over 40 years of experience in Wall Street, plus knowledge gained from study of the ups and downs of thousands of brokerage accounts. But he is not an ivory tower theorist. He has tested his accumulated knowledge in the hot forge of the marketplace with millions of dollars of cold cash. His findings are now available to the readers of this book. Until the stock market debacle of 1929, security holders were inclined to accord their invested capital, the lifeblood of their economic existence, less attention than they gave to their automobile or teeth. Once a good investment, always a good investment, seemed to be their attitude. But Mr. Loeb sets forth the inescapable investment doctrine that eternal vigilance is the price of success, and bluntly states that an ideal investment is totally non-existent. In substance, this book is hard-boiled, realistic, at times unorthodox. It promises no shortcuts to wealth, neither does it take the sour grapes attitude that Wall Street is a snare and delusion. Rather, it is a succinct, straightforward, uncompromising revelation of stock market technique and philosophy by one who has been successful enough to make his views worth recording. Introduction. The publication of this up-to-date and enlarged edition of The Battle for Investment Survival is due to two factors: the steady demand for the first hardcover edition, which has sold over 200,000 copies, complimentary comments made by various readers of that edition. The contents of the hardcover book, which was last updated in 1957, are included here, practically without change. Here and there, as in the case of the 1964 tax revision, text changes have been made. Basically, the philosophy of the book has withstood the test of time. Some of the chapters were written in 1935 and checked in 1943 and 1957, and again now in 1965. They are still as valid as when they were written. Is it valid now? The edition I have cryptocurrency. That's why I checked cryptocurrency. This edition, however, contains considerable additional material. A reader of one of my earlier discussions asked, "Have you ever tried out the ideas outlined in your book?" My reply was to the effect that the ideas were tried out first and the book written afterward. Any earner who earns more than he can spend is automatically an investor. It doesn't matter in the slightest whether he wants to be or not, or even whether he realizes that he is investing. Storing present purchasing power for use in the future is investing, no matter in what form it's put away. Some popular and common forms include money itself, government bonds, savings bank deposits, real estate, commodities, securities of all types, diamonds, and where and when it's legal, gold. The real object of investment is fundamentally to store excess current purchasing power for future use. A man lays brick all day and earns $48. Perhaps in time he saves $48 and invests it for the future. Someday he may want someone else to build a house for him, and he would like to hire a bricklayer at that time to do a day's work for the $48 he saved. At least that is an ideal situation. In real life it works a little differently. The value of money fluctuates. In later years it surely will not cost exactly $48 to hire a bricklayer for a day. It may cost less, but most likely it will cost more. Thus, just keeping the $48 will not always do. Since this book was first written, the cost of labor has been constantly rising. In fact, attempting to offset inflation, the rising cost of living, or the depreciation of the dollar, however it is labeled, has become the number one investment consideration. The average individual will pay storage and insurance for putting away things he wants to keep for the future, but when it comes to putting away savings, he not only does not expect to pay, but also he wants others to pay him either interest or dividends for the use of his savings. Yeah. If he feels as well that there are risks involved in not getting it all back, then he wants to be paid a profit besides, either in the form of a higher rate of income or a potential capital gain. See, it's like we can complain about more banks allowing out the savings account. Oh, they loan out 10 times, or 90% can be used for loans to people in the business and community. But at the same time, they want to know what their interest rate is, because the natural depreciation, it takes people working that bank to keep the savings inside the bank secure. And if all the money was in the bank, then when bank robbery, it would all be gone. So it takes people, it's just the ebb and flow of nature. That's why the winter and relaxation and holidays are important, because we will keep working. When we get hurt, we need to get a good recovery. And like, see, I've been at war just keeping hold of my phone, because the phone is now a bank. So it's like I am now a security guard, and I will take lethal action. Although, of course, he expects too much and aims too little. All the above boils down to the necessity of measuring the return from investments and purchasing power rather than the dollars. You must get back a sufficient number of additional dollars to make up for lost purchasing power if prices are rising, and a high enough percentage of your original dollars if prices are falling. I put it this way because usually there is some profit from investments in times of rising prices, but rarely enough. In general, there are losses in times of falling prices, and usually too many. When I started investing about 1921, it seemed a peaceful enough occupation. By 1943, I started calling it a battle, though a lot of people might have used that term much earlier. During 1929 to 1932, in 1957, it seemed a war. The hazards are still increasing. The person who studies a problem from every angle and defines the risk and aims the possibilities correctly before he starts is more than halfway to his goal. Believe it or not, some people almost always make money in the stock market. Admittedly, there are few and far between. It is my belief that most of those who succeed do so within one of the patterns described in this book. What success investors eventually have is governed by their abilities, the stakes they possess, the time they give to it, the risks they are willing to take, and the market climate in which they operate. I am certain that depending upon the degree and the proficiency with which they are applied, the experiences, ideas, guides, formulas, and principles outlined here can do no less than improve the reader's investment results, regardless of what they might do. As we said before, almost everything written in earlier editions for this collection of discussions is still valid. However, I am adding some new ideas which have been tested and found equally valid in some discussions of the more complex influences that dominate investing today. Readers of previous editions keep calling attention to what they felt was an inconsistency on the major premise of diversification. There is no inconsistency. Diversification is a necessity for the beginner. On the other hand, the really great fortunes were made by concentration. The greater your experience, the greater your capability for running risks, and the greater your ability to chart your course yourself, the less you need to diversify. I'm my own wealth. The ability to build habitats, I don't need much.